Today we are going to do a homeschool mom chat, so you might want to go ahead and grab your coffee. I already have mine. We are going to talk about a mid-year homeschool update. What's been working, what hasn't, and changes that we need to make moving into a new semester. Now, if you are new here, my name is Sarah. I am the homeschool mom of 5 kids. They are ages 13, 11, 7, 2.5, and 1. We are smack dab in the middle of our 9th year of homeschooling, and we have 2 middle schoolers and 1 elementary schooler. So if we're assigning grades, which I know some homeschoolers don't like to do, but if I was, I would say that I am currently teaching a 7th grader, a 6th grader, and a 1st grader while trying to keep my toddler and my baby happy. All right, so let's start things off on a positive note. Let's talk about the things that have been working in our homeschool this past semester. Number 1, dynamics. The day-to-day feeling or atmosphere in our homeschool has just been so much better this semester. Everybody has just enjoyed school more. And honestly, I think that is because me as homeschool mama, I am enjoying homeschool more. I have really been enjoying a lot of the curriculum that we picked for this year. I've enjoyed some of the unit studies that we have been learning about. And so I really think that when mama is happy, that translates to the rest of your homeschool, to your kids. The way we feel about homeschool is so often contagious to our kids. Now, kind of related to that, we have been more consistent in most of our subjects throughout this last semester, and I can't take credit for this. Let's just be honest. Homeschool in 2020 has been completely different, and most of our outside activities, things that we would normally be running around and doing, have changed or just haven't been happening the way they used to. And we have spent so much more time at home, and so what else is there to do but to homeschool and to really hone in and focus on all of those subjects. So, shockingly, more time at home equals more consistency in our homeschool. Okay, so let's kind of keep the positive train rolling here, and let's talk through some specific subjects that have been working really well for our homeschool. So first up is Bible. This Bible study that my middle schoolers have been using, it is called Meeting with Jesus. This has been going great. They spend about 10 or 15 minutes doing this Bible study completely independently every morning. And they are just really enjoying it. They're learning a lot, and I feel like they are really gaining that habit of being in scripture on a daily basis. Next up, math. Math has been going great. You probably know that we are Math UC junkies here in our homeschool, and it's just a well-oiled machine. We just love Demi learning, and honestly, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I am not messing with math. Next up, language arts in general has been working really, really well in our homeschool this year. One language arts curriculum that I do want to highlight though from our semester is Happy Cheetah. I did a flip through and preview of this curriculum earlier in the semester, and this has been going really well for Mariah. She is actually finishing the kindergarten program about hopefully this week, maybe next, and then we are going to be moving into the 1st grade curriculum box. Now I know you're thinking, she's supposed to be in 1st grade, why is she doing kindergarten? I did this on purpose. I really wanted to take our time in phonics and really lay that groundwork for her, really help her to just master those phonics skills and not go too fast. That's a mistake I made with my older kids. I kind of pushed them through reading a little bit too quickly, and all it did was frustrate me and frustrate them. So we are really taking our time learning to read, learning those phonics skills, and so Happy Cheetah has just been a really good fit for us. We're excited to start the next level. Something else that has been going really well around here is nature journaling. We have done more nature journaling this fall and this winter than ever before, and I have to give that credit to the fact that we have our nature backpack. Having all of our supplies, having our journals always ready and at hand to be able to jump in and nature journal has just like kind of removed the stumbling block, and we are able to do it more often. I feel like we have everything we need to be able to do it well, and so nature journaling has just brought a lot of joy to our homeschool and a lot of fun the last few months. Now, you guys know I cannot get through talking about what's going well in our homeschool without talking about book baskets. You guys know this is really like one of my favorite things about homeschooling, about parenting in general. I love creating themed book baskets for my kids to either go along with the unit studies that we are doing or just to go around seasonally what's happening, Thanksgiving, Christmas, snow, different things like that. So we have really enjoyed our book baskets. They are a staple in our household, and so those are going to keep going strong. I will be posting more videos about book baskets that we are utilizing here in the Ralston house, so keep an eye out for those. Okay, now I feel like I need dramatic music. Let's talk about the things that haven't been working so well in our homeschool. Number one, grammar. As I mentioned at the beginning of the semester, I was going to do grammar as a group subject with all 3 kids. I was using 2 or 3 different grammar curriculums that I was kind of mashing together to make up my own lessons and do on the whiteboard with the kids together every morning. Well, as good of intentions as I had, this only lasted 2 weeks, maybe 3. We burnt out and just were not consistent with doing grammar the way that I wanted to. So I'm going to change things up moving into the new semester, moving into January, and I've actually decided to just kind of drop grammar instruction for my first grader, for Mariah. I'm one of those that thinks that grammar can wait until later in elementary school, even be pushed until middle school. Now, for Noah and Leah, I decided I wanted grammar to be more independent. I wanted them to be able to do it on their own. So I went ahead and purchased for them Fix It Grammar Book 2 Robin Hood. Now, we have done Fix It Grammar in the past. I think we actually did a little bit of this book already, maybe last year. And so we're just going to revisit it, start back at the beginning, and I'm going to let them do this as an independent subject. Again, on that language arts theme, one of the things that we didn't get to as I thought we would is this study from Memoria Press, Storytime Treasures. This is a literature guide for elementary school, for kindergarten or first grade. It goes through it and has you read books like Little Bear and Frog and Toad and gives you some activities and study questions to go along with it. I had really good intentions to use this with Mariah. I loved this curriculum years ago when I did it with Noah and Leah. But we just didn't get to it. We have been reading so many books in our book baskets, so many books to go along with our unit studies, that I just haven't felt the need to pick this up. And so this is one that hasn't been working, and I'm probably just going to shelf for this semester and save it for maybe next year or another time. That is one of the things I am learning as I'm gaining more experience in homeschool, is that it's okay to put a curriculum away for a while. It's okay to put it on the shelf and save it for another year or another semester. That's okay. And so I think that that's probably what is going to happen with this Memoria Press book. Even though I really like it, it's just not the right season for it. So the last subject I'm going to talk about today that was a complete disaster was Spanish. Now, this is Classical Academic Press's Song School Spanish. I have book 1 and book 2 that we have been slowly working through the last couple of years. And it's not the curriculum's fault that this was a disaster in our house. It was mine. I consider Spanish to be an elective, kind of an extra, and we just haven't had time to get to it. It's the easy thing to kind of offload on our schedule and to postpone and put off for another day, and that's kind of what happened. I put it off for a few weeks in September, and then in October, and then in November, and then Christmas came and I said forget it. So Spanish is probably something we might table for the rest of the year and maybe try to pick up again next year. Okay, so let's talk about some things that are changing in our homeschool. Changes. All right, so let's start this off by talking about seasons of life. I am in a season of life right now where I have a toddler and a baby, and it feels like our household schedule tends to revolve around their routine, their rhythm, when they need to eat, when they need to sleep, when they need to take a bath, when they need to go outside and play. So much of what we do on a day-to-day basis revolves around my toddler and my baby. And I feel like as soon as I nail down a really good routine with them, something changes. And that's definitely what happened this past semester. When we started school in August, Ava was taking a nice long, hour and a half, almost 2-hour morning nap. And then she would happily play in her crib when she woke up for even maybe 15-20 minutes longer. And so I was able to use that entire chunk of time to really hone in and focus on our homeschool and get a lot of our work done for the day. And I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. It's no surprise that by about mid-October, Ava gave up her morning nap. I feel like, can we have a moment of silence? Oh, I miss her morning naps. Anyways, so that kind of like put me on my heels and threw me for a loop in our schedule, in our routine. I could no longer have that precious couple of hours every morning that was kind of uninterrupted where I could really focus in on homeschool. And so that's caused me to kind of have to reassess what our block schedule is going to look like moving forward in this semester. So this leads into another really big goal I have for our homeschool this semester, and that is for Noah and Leah, my middle schoolers, to become more independent in their homeschool work. Now, with 5 children, with a baby, with a toddler, our house is loud. I mean, it can be really, really loud and really distracting when you are trying to sit down and focus on something, even when you have noise canceling headphones on. So as I mentioned in my video last week, I decided to create desk spaces for Noah and Leah downstairs in the finished portion of our basement. My plan is for them to be able to participate in our group subjects in the morning first thing, and then hopefully be able to kind of hand them their to-do lists, hand them their assignments, and they can go down to their desks and work independently on their own for the rest of the day in the quiet. This will also give me the opportunity to spend a little bit more one-on-one time teaching Mariah, my first grader. As you know, an early elementary kid, she requires a lot of shoulder-to-shoulder teaching time with me, and so this will give me more opportunity to spend some time with her doing that. One other change that we are going to make moving into this next semester is I decided I wanted the kids to work on a little bit more vocabulary. So I'm going to have Noah and Leah start this Wordly Wise 3000. I've heard some good things about this curriculum. I bought book 5. We'll see if that's the right level for them. We may not get through even half of this book this year, and that's okay. We're just gonna start this and see how it goes. I will keep you all updated. All right, so I'm sure you're wondering, what about Gather Round? Yeah, I know, I haven't mentioned it, and that has been intentional because honestly, Gather Round fits into all 3 categories that we have been talking today. It worked really well. Parts of it didn't work so well, and there are definitely some things regarding Gather Round that we are going to change moving into 2021. All right, so as I talk about Gather Round, I hope this doesn't get a little bit too in the weeds, but just try to bear with me and follow along. The Gather Round units that we did this semester were Oceans, Government, Africa, and the Christmas unit. And so I'm going to talk about each one of those units individually, kind of share some of the things that worked and didn't, and then tell you what we're going to do with Gather Round moving into next semester. So for the Oceans unit, this was my kids' absolute favorite unit that we have done from Gather Round so far. They loved it, and it paired really well with our beach trip that we were able to do at the end of the summer. Now, the one thing I would say about this unit, and I have heard some other YouTube mamas talk about this, and I wholeheartedly agree, I wish that they would rename this unit Ocean Animals, because honestly, all 20 lessons, you're really focused in and studying ocean animals, which of course my kids ate up and loved, but I was hoping that it would flesh out a little bit more information about tides and waves and water composition and things like that. I felt like it was more of an ocean animal unit study and not so much an oceans unit study. But overall, we really enjoyed the unit. So next, let's talk about the U.S. government mini unit. Doing this unit in the fall of 2020 was very timely. It paired perfectly to go along with current events and the presidential election that happened this fall. Not that I want to talk about politics here, but studying government was just really great and special for us this semester. That being said, my 6th and 7th graders, they got a lot out of this study. They really enjoyed it and learned so much about the government. I will be honest though to say that a lot of this study went over my first grader's head. She did the early reader and pre-reader pages, and it was really hard for her to grasp a lot of the information that I was reading aloud. So by about 4 or 5 lessons in, I decided to kind of stop having Mariah do the government unit study, and instead I just started reading aloud to her from Heritage Studies. This is from BJU Press. I had these already on my shelf, and so this was just an easy and quick grab. We actually have been doing book 1 and book 2, just reading a chapter or 2 out of these every week. This has really been fun. It's kind of presented some basic US history, social studies, government, things like that, but at more of a first grade, second grade level. Next, moving on to the Africa unit study. Gosh, I have loved this one. This is probably my personal favorite study that we have done so far. This is the second connecting continent study that we here in the Ralston House have done, and I love them. I really love the focus in on geography and culture, history, science. It's just great. So we have really been enjoying the Africa unit study. We got about half of it done before Christmas, and we're going to finish the other half of it here in January. And then lastly, the Christmas study. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about it here because I did devote a couple of different videos to it back in December, but the Christmas mini unit was just such a special study for us in our house. We had so much fun just being intentional about studying the Christmas story and about doing family baking and projects and games together. It was so wonderful. We really loved the Christmas unit. Now, overall, there was something that I do want to mention here that just hasn't been working about Gather Round, and this is about all the units, not any one unit in particular. And that is the middle school pages. Honestly, I have not loved the middle school pages for my kids. They are very heavy-handed on the research. A lot of the worksheets every single day are asking your middle schooler to get online or pull out encyclopedias and do research about a topic and then write a paragraph or 2 about that. And honestly, this just got a little bit too repetitive for my kids. And, just the research right. They just didn't really love that. Also, this is just a personal preference. I tend to be a little bit on guard about the way my kids use the internet, about how they are doing research and searching. And so I felt like having these type of worksheets just really added to my workload as mama. I just felt like I was having to spend a lot of time every day guiding them and helping them research different topics on the internet. Now, this goes into what we're going to change for 2021. So first of all, let me just tell you that in January, we are going to finish the Africa unit. And then I also think we are going to do the Earth Science unit after that. We are also going to pair those unit studies alongside of the US History 1, the A New World mini unit study that they just came out with. I'm thinking by the end of the semester, we'll probably be able to fit in one more full unit, and I haven't decided which unit that's going to be yet. I'm kind of excited to see what units Rebecca will be releasing from Gather Round later this spring. So I'm going to hold off deciding on what unit we will end our year with. But this leads into the fact that I am planning on using Gather Round a little bit differently for this whole next semester. I'm just going to cut to the chase, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to use Gather Round in full, all of the student notebooking pages with Mariah, with my first grader. She's been doing the early reader pages, and this has been just a great fit for her. So we will continue to use Gather Round as is with Mariah. For Noah and Leah, I am definitely planning on making some changes. I'm going to scale back what they are responsible to do from Gather Round. Now, I was already having Noah and Leah skip a lot of the language arts pages included in their student notebooks just because we already supplement with so many other language arts. But I think I'm going to reel this in even more. And my plan is to have them do, first of all, the notebooking page, the very first page that is in the student notebooks every single lesson. And then I'm just going to pick one other worksheet to have them do from Gather Round. So they will just be responsible for doing 2 worksheets from their student notebook every single day from Gather Round, and that is it. This way, neither them or I are getting too overwhelmed with the amount of research they're doing. And I just think that this will be a better fit for our family moving forward. All right, guys, I know that this was a long one, so thank you for hanging in there. I just refilled my coffee. I'm sure you probably need more at this point as well. In case you're interested in a little bit more detailed information about what curriculum I am doing with each one of my children, I did videos back in August during our back to school series week where I outlined every single curriculum pick that I did for each child. So I will make sure to link those videos down below in the description box if you would like more information. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up, like it below, and if you have not done so already, please subscribe to our channel and leave me a comment. Let me know how your school year is going, if you have things that you are planning on changing or adding or dropping moving into this next semester. I think as homeschoolers, this is one of the things that, you know, a lot of us do mid-year, so you are definitely in good company. I would love to hear about how things are going in your homeschool. Well, I hope that your new year is off to a great start. See you later.